A 2012 KTM 300 XCW changed my life. It sounds kind of silly that a dirt bike could change your life, and I don't want to be too melodramatic about this, but almost exactly 6 years ago to right now, I bought a 2012 KTM 300 XCW, and it has really changed the course of my life. Now, it's not the first dirt bike I ever owned. I've ridden machines and dirt bikes for a long, long time. I started on four-wheelers when I was 6. Rode some of my dad's different kind of dual sport bikes when I was a teenager. I rode a lot of four-wheelers. I had a Yamaha Banshee and some different four-wheelers back in the day. I finally got my first dirt bike in 2010, so I would have been like 29-ish, right in there. And it was a Yamaha YZ450F. Terrible, terrible bike for a beginner. And I struggled with that bike for the next couple of years until 2012, when just on a whim, listening to some different friends, reading some different things, I decided I was gonna make a jump to a KTM 300 XCW. And honestly, it literally did, my life it was going down a certain path, and because of that bike, it made a little bit of an alternate path, and it has changed me in ways that I never would have believed 6 years ago. Some of those things that it's done for me is it gave me a new passion for my life, a new passion that I wanted to share with my family, and a new passion that I wanted to share with the world. And just that minor thing, giving me something to put my time and energy into. And listen, guys, I've had a lot of interest in my life. I played guitar for 15 years, loved guitar. At certain points in my life, electric guitar ruled my day and ruled my life. I loved it. I poured my heart and soul into that from the time I was 15 until about 30. That was a big interest. Guns have always been a big interest to me, and they still are. I love my AR-15s, and I love my 308s, and I'd love to have a 6.5 Creedmoor and a 338 Lapua. I still love guns, but it hasn't taken over for me like the dirt bikes did, and it was because of that 2012 KTM. Other things I've done, I'm a pilot. I went to school to be a commercial aviator, and I've always loved airplanes, but it's never taken me over quite like the dirt bikes did. It changed my life because it gave me a chance and a reason to rekindle a long-time friendship with the guy who was my best friend growing up. Scott Seeley gave me a chance to rekindle that relationship where we didn't really have a good excuse to do that otherwise. So it gave me a longtime friend back. It also gave me some new friends, Sam and Tyler and some of these other guys, some of these lifelong relationships that you can have. And it came back because of a 2012 KTM 300 XCW. Now you could say, well, why was it just that? It could have been another bike. It could have been, but it wasn't. It was the 2012 KTM that actually ignited my passion for this. The four-stroke that I was on before, and it's not that all four-strokes are bad, but the four-stroke, it was a 450 motocross bike. It was just eating me up, and I wasn't having fun with it. And then I switch over to that bike, that particular KTM, and it just spoke to me. It was easier to ride. It didn't stall as easily. It felt lighter. It felt more nimble, and it was just better suited to the type of riding that I wanted to do, which was single track in the mountains. And it just made everything so much better. Another way that KTM changed my life is it took me to places that I never would have been otherwise. Dirt bikes, one of the great things about dirt bikes is they can take you into areas, beautiful areas that you would just never see unless you decide to go backpacking for a day and a half or ride a horse for 10 hours into some of these areas where you can get into these areas with just 45 minutes or an hour or 2 hours on dirt bikes, and you can cover so much ground. And so they've taken me to places that I never would have thought possible with ease. And it's just been the most fulfilling thing outside of being married to my wife and raising my family. Dirt bikes have been the most fulfilling thing that I have ever experienced. It's maybe not going to be that way for everybody, but I think a lot of the people watching this video are going to relate. And a lot of the people in this video are probably going to look back to a certain bike in their past and say, that's when the light switch was flipped. That bike lit my fire. That bike did it for me. And when I think back, that KTM is what ignited all of this. If it wasn't for that 2012 KTM 300XCW, there would be no dirt bike channel. I wouldn't be standing here in front of a camera talking. I wouldn't be trying to give back to the community. None of this would exist. I'd have other hobbies, maybe it'd be golf. I've done golf in the past. I've done all these other things, but nothing has lit my fire quite like this. And I have that freaking KTM to blame. You know, it's just one of those things. I can't, it all tracks back to that one moment where I went to Ogden, Utah, talked to Stephanie at 80 Triple S, and freaking bought my first KTM. That's kind of crazy to think about. That one moment, one item could change your life. It makes me think, you know, what other turning points do we have in our lives? And where are our lives going? Tell you what though, I'm thankful for dirt bikes. And I'm thankful for that 2012 300XCW. Thanks for watching.